Get some 5x5 Futoshiki action in. I've done 10 levels now of this 5x5 grids, so I'm feeling confident to have a good stab at this. Some of them I've done in 47 seconds, level 9. Some of them I've done in 5 minutes 36 seconds. Oh, level 6 I did in nearly 10 minutes. They do come together eventually. It's just trying to see that logical path. Okay, so the top row looks good. We're missing a 5, which is over there because there's a 5 in the 5th column, and a 3. And the bottom row looks good as well. We're missing a 1, which has to be there because there's a 1 in the 5th column, and a 4. And then we've ended up with a spare 1 here, so that's got to be a 2. And then we're missing a 4 on the column on the left. Okay, let's venture to the... They're all equal. They're all missing... Both rows and columns seem to be missing 3 each, but this one's got a further constraint of an inequality, so let's go for that one. Let's try and place a 5. We can't place a 5 there because of the 5 in the 5th column. We can't place one here because of the inequality. Nothing's greater than a 5. So we have to put the 5 at the bottom here. We're now missing a 1 and a 3, but there is no constraints on the columns to indicate that, just the inequality itself. So 3 is greater than 1. I'm going to stick to the columns actually. So on this row we're missing a 1, a 3 and a 4. So we've got 2 3s to the left of us, so that means the 3 will have to go there. And then the 1 and the 4, we've got no constraints on the left, but we have got a 1 in the 5th column, so that means the 1 will have to go there, and the 4 there. And then the 4th column, we just... Well, let's do the rows actually, because that's so much easier. What are we missing from the 2nd row? We're missing a number 4. We're missing a number 5 from that row. And then finally we're missing a number 2. Not a bad time, 1 minute 40 compared to the others. That's level 11. Done. Let's move on to level 12. Whoa, a lot going on here. We've got this track of 3 inequalities here. So let's hopefully fill out some other bits on this row and maybe... Well, we know that the minimum this can be is a... Sorry, the maximum it can be is a 3. Because then that can be a 4 and that can be a 5. It can be a minimum of anything. But that can't be a 4 because we've got a 4 down there. So it can't be a 3. The maximum it can be is a 2 then. And if it can be a 2, that can be a 3. And that can be a 4 or a 5. It could also be a 1 and that could be a 2. So it's not really helping us fill that out just yet. This is quite a challenging one. This is going to be a 10-minute one, I think. Let's have a look. We've got the 4s, okay? We've got 3 rows with 4s in it. So let's try and fill out 4s in these rows here. The only place a 4 can be is that row there because all those 3 columns were taken up. So we have to place a 4 there. If we're placing a 4 there, that means in this row, the 4 is there. Let's have a look at, let's think about what the minimum this can be. The minimum it can be is a 3, because that can be a 2 or a 1. And a 1. It can't be a 4, because we've already got 4s in there. So it could be a 5, a 3 and a 1. So we're still not really narrowed that down yet. We need to place something there in order to narrow it down, don't we? Let's have a look here, down this 5th column. 5, 4, 3, 2 and a 1. Nothing to narrow it down there. Could we place another 5 somewhere? We can't have a 5 here. And we can't have a 5 there. Because nothing can be greater than a 5. We can't have a 5 there because there's a 5 in the column. So we can place a 5 here. Okay, good. What about this row? Does that help us with that 5 at all? I don't think it does. It doesn't make... It means that can't be a 5 or a 4. So if it can't be a 5 or a 4, it has to be a 3 because it can't be a 2 or a 1. Now that then can't be a 1. It can't be anything greater than a 3. So it has to be a 2. That has to be a 1. And therefore that has to be a 5. This is good. I am pleased. Can we place a 5 anywhere else now? Well, we've got these 2 rows here. In this 4th row, the 5 has to be there because the other place it could have been, places 2 and 3, the 4 was occupying that, and therefore in the final row we have to place a 5 there. That's good news. Okay, looking at that 3rd column, we've got 2 spaces. We need a 1 and a 3 placing, but there's nothing to constrain that just yet, so we can't go for that. What's less than a 5? A 3, a 2, or a 1 can go in that slot there, so nothing to constrain that just yet. Here we've got to place a 3, a 2 and a 1, nothing really to constrain that. This is good because we've got an inequality and we've got 2, so we've got to fill in the 2 digits in the inequality or decide which order they go in. So we've got a 1 and a 2 to place, so the 1 must be less than the 2. Great. This 5th row at the bottom here, we've got a 1 and a 3 to place. Nothing constraining that. There is, because there's a 1 in the column. Therefore, the 3 must go there and the 1 there. That means this column, we've only got a 2 to fill out. And then along the top row, we've got a 1 and a 3 to place. Nothing to constrain that immediately. So let's have a look along this 3rd column. We've got a 3 and a 1 to place. Again, nothing immediately to constrain that. Let's have a look here. We've got 3 digits already filled out, 2 remaining with an inequality. So we've got the 2 and the 3 to place. Let's place the 3 to be greater than the 2. Oh, this looks good because we've got a 1 and a 2 to place. Can't place the 2 there, so that has to be the 1. And therefore that has to be the 2. Now we're just missing 1 digit from that 3rd column, so we could place a 3 there. Oh, look at that. Along the top it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're missing a 3. 4 minutes 58. I thought it'd be a 10-minuter. 5 minutes. Still a long time, but we're getting quicker. Along the top there, we're just missing a 4. And along the bottom there, we're missing a 3. Therefore, in the centre, that's got to be a 1. So 3 numbers straight off the bat. They're very easy numbers handed to us. What can we now do? Well, we've got 5s on the board. So we've got a 5 to place in this row and a 5 to place in this row. We know in this row the 5 can't be there. It can't be less than anything. So the 5 is going to have to be here. We couldn't place it anywhere else because the first 3 columns have a 5 in it. And therefore the 5 in that row has to be there. That's good news so far. Can we do the same here? Something similar. Let's have a look at the 1s. We've got a 1 in that column, a 1 in that column, and a 1 in that column. Therefore, we can place a 1 in this row. Now, the 1 can't be greater than anything, so it has to be in the less than point. And that means that the 1 in this row has to be here, because that's the only position without a 1 in the corresponding row or column. Okay, what can we fill out now? What's got the majority of stuff in it? I think column 2 looks good to me. So we've got a 3 and a 4 to fill out. Nothing to constrain those immediately. About column 1 then, we've got a 3 and a 2 to fill out. And again, nothing to constrain those immediately. Column 5, we've got a 3 and a 4 to fill out. And unfortunately, nothing to constrain those. So we've done the 1s, we've done the 5s. And did we look at anything else yet? Let's have a... What else have we got filled out? We've got 3s filled out. Not many 3s. We've got 2s done. So in this column, we've got to place a 2. Which can't go next to the 2 there, so it has to be here. And that means that in this... Oh, no, we've got one in that column. In this column, we've got to place a 2, and the only place it can be is there. Okay, we've got 1, 2, we've got a 3 and a 4 to fill out in this row here. 4 can't go there because there's already 4 in the column, so the 3 goes there, 4 goes there. Oh, this is good. On that column, we're just missing a 4. And on this column, we're just missing a 3. In this row, we're just missing a 4, and in this row, we're just missing a 3. 2 minutes 49 seems to have gone for a lot longer than that. Okay, level 14. Wow, this is quite sparse compared to the others. However, we know we're missing a 2 from that column, and we're missing a 4 from this column. Now, what else can we do? We've got 3 2s on the board, so can we fill in 2s on this column? We can't go in the first 3 rows, so it's got to be somewhere in this 2, and same for this, it's got to be somewhere in these 2. Doesn't really help us with the 2s. How about the 4s? Well, the first 3 rows have got 4s, so we know that we've got to have a 4 either here or here, and a 4 either here or here. So nothing massively helping us there. So we've done the 4s. We've done the 2s. What about 5s? In this row, a 5 can't go there. It can go there or there. Okay. It's not amazingly useful. And a 5 can go there or there in that row because it can't be less than anything. What about the 1? The 1 can't be there. So it has to be there or there in that row. A 2 can't be there. Because we've got a 2 in the column anyway. It can't be greater than... It can only be greater than a 1, and the 1's already taken up. So the 2's either there or there. We also concluded that in the bottom here, 2's either there or there. Is there something else that's either going to be there or there with the 2? That could be interesting. I think there is. Here, there's a 5. Oh no, the 5 could be there as well. What about here? What we're missing? We're missing the 1. The 1 can either be there or there. Now, if the 1 is there or there, and a 2 is there or there, that'll affect the 2 up here, but not in the way I'm looking at. I'm looking at trying to form an I think it's an X-wing. Whereas if I pair off numbers, that means that the remaining number is the one that I'm looking for, but can't see the wood for the trees at the moment. Can we get a number into this column? This is looking fairly blank, this column. Can we get number 5? It can't be there. Can't be there. Could be there. It could be there. Okay, I'm going to use these pencil markings that I've never really used before. So that could be a 5 or a 2. And that could be a 5 or a 2 as well. That can only be a 1 or a 2, and that can only be a 1 or a 2. Now this, that could also be a 5. But it can't be a 4. It can either be a 5. Can't be a 2, so it can either be a 5 or a 3. So that can be a 2, a 3 or a 5. And that could be a 2, a 3 or a 5. Okay. Sure, there's something a bit more obvious that I could be looking at, but this has got to be a 1 or a 4. And this has got to be a 1 or a 4. So we have got 1s in this X-wing formation down here. We've also got this could be a 4, and this could be a 4. That could be a 4 or a 4, 3, 5. That could be a 4, 3, 5. Now that can't be a 4 or a 2, so it can only be a 3 or a 5. It can't be a 1. So have a look here. Now we know that that is a minimum of a 3, so this can only be a 4 or a 5. Because the 4's already taken, it has to be a 5. It has to be a 5, that can only be a 3 or a 4. Okay. So what are we missing from this third row here? 2, 5, 1 and a 2. Well, the 2's already taken in the column, so the 2 has to be here. Oh, sorry. We're missing a 1 and a 3. So that's a 1, 3, and that's a 1, 3. I think we've filled everything out, more or less. So what other logic can we use now to deduce what can be what? Okay, let's have a look at this inequality here. The very maximum, the very minimum this can be is a 2. It can't be a 5, so it can be a 2 or a 3. Therefore, that can't be a 3 or a 5, because 3 is not greater than 3. It is. Oh, it could be a 3 or 5, because 3 could be greater than 2. Finding this exceptionally challenging, which I enjoy. Let's have a look up here. There's a lot of placements of 1s, isn't there? We could have either 1 there, a 1 there, or a 1 there. So we've really got to try and narrow this down. We could, one viable technique is to just say, right, let's commit that to being a 4 and see if that results in anything. See if there's any conflicts. If that becomes a 4, that becomes a 1. And then we've got to place a 4 here, which can't go there or there. It could go there. And if if that's a 1, 4, 5, then we've got a 2 and a 3 to place. So 3 can't be there, it has to be there. So the 2's there. That then becomes a 1. Didn't we say that was a 1? Because that was the 4. So we have got a conflict. So let's make that the... Oh, no. Sorry, let's make that the 4. Let's make that the 1. Let's take out the 1 from there. Make that the 1 there. If that's a 1, that becomes a 3. If that becomes a 3, that becomes a 1. If that becomes a 3, that becomes a 2. And then we've only left with the 5 there. So we're only left with the 3 there. We're only left with a 4 there. And therefore, here we must be left with a 3. And then here we must be left with a 5. Yeah, so, I mean, that's one technique, is to take a choice of 2 options and follow it through and see if there's a conflict. It's not an ideal way, because you could be following it for quite some time. That is a valid logical way of deducing. Okay, here we've got a path of 3, 1, 2, 3, and then it diverges here, which means that the minimum this can be, no, is not anything. Let's have a look. It can't be a 1 because we've got the 1 taken up. So let's have a look at if it was a 2. Could have a 2, 4 and a 5. This can't be a 4, so that could be a 5. What happens if it was a 3? Could it be a 3? Could have a 3, 4 and a 5 there, and a 3 and a 5 there. So the very maximum it can be is a 3, and the minimum it can be is a 2. Okay, so it's a 2, 3. All right, we'll stick with that. Let's try and place a 1 in here. The 1 can't be greater than anything, and we've got a 1 in that row, so we can place a 1 there. Okay, if that's a 2 or a 3, that can't then be a 3. If that was a 2, that can't be a 3. It can't be a 5 either. So the only thing it can be is a 4. And that forces that, the only thing that can be, to be a 5. Which means that's a 2 or a 3 only as well. If that's a 2 or a 3, the only thing greater than that, if that was a 2, that can't be a 3 because we've got a 3 in the row. So, and it can't be a 4, so the only thing that can be is a 5. And therefore, the only thing that can be in here is a 2 or a 3 as well. This is cool. So have a look at this column here. We've got a 1 and a 3. Could we place a 5 in there? Could be there or there. Or there. That can't be a 4 or a 3. That can't be, well, it can't be, well, it definitely can't be a 3. And it can't be a 4. So it can only be 2 or a 5. This can't be a 3, but it could be a 4 or a 5 or a 2, 2, 4 or 5. Doesn't really narrow much down. What about placing a 1? Well, we've got a 1 in the first column. We've got a 1 in the fourth column. And that can't be that can be a 1 because something can be greater than 1. One, two, buckle my shoe. No, it's not really helped actually, that rhyme. Let's have a look at these 3s again. Can I place a 3 in this? I can't have a 3 there. Can't have a 3 there. So again, this is either a 3. It's not really narrowed it down. What's missing out of this row 1? If that was a 2, the only place the 1 could go was there. If it was a 5, that could be a 2 or a 1, couldn't it? So that could be a 1 or a 2. That can't be a 5. That could be a 1 or a 2 as well. Wait, if that can't be a 5 and that can't be a 5, then the only thing is that has to be the 5 then, doesn't it? Yeah. So can we place a 5 up here? Well, a 5 can either be there or there. What about this bottom row? A 5 can't be there. Can't be there because we've got 5s in the column, so the 5 has to be there. Therefore, on the top row, the 5 has to be there. Okay. It's a little bit better. What are we missing here? 3, 4, 5. So we're missing a 2 and a 1. Well, the 1 can't go there, therefore the 2 has to be there. The 1 goes there. we're missing a 1, 2, a 3 and a 4. Well, the 3 will have to go there because there is a 3 in that second row, fourth column. Therefore, that has to be the 4. And therefore, we're missing a 2 out of that. Now, the only thing less than 2 is a 1. Not a 2, a 1. And therefore, that leaves that to become a 2. If that becomes a 2, we narrow that down to a 2 and a 3. So that becomes a 3. And therefore, we're missing the 4 out of there. We're missing a 2 from here, which means that that becomes a 1. And then this missing digit is a 4 from the column. And then we're missing a 3. And finally, we're missing a 2. Oh, 6 minutes 30. I'm just, to be honest, I'm pleased to solve these. Not so much worried about the time. I think my brain will get quicker as it identifies the certain patterns to look for in Futoshiki. Like if you've got 3 digits in a column or row, 2 remaining digits in an inequality, it's a given. Just gulp my Earl Grey down, and we'll go on to level 16. Okay. So this is attractive. We've got the 3 in that row. So we've got a 1 and a 2. We can't put the 1 there because there's a 1 in the column, so let's put it on the left there, and we'll stick a 2 down there. Same again for here. We've got a 4 and a 5, so the 4 will have to go there, and the 5 over here. That means we can fill in these 2 quite readily because that's a 4 and that's a 2 that's missing. And now we can probably fill out fairly quickly what goes on here. Now, in this row, we've got to be able to place a 2. Can't go there, but it can go there or there. We've got to place a 1, that can go there or there. And we've got to place a 4. The 4 can't go there or there, so the 4 can go there. The 1 has to go there, and therefore the 2 has to go there. Let's have a look at this row now. We've got a 1 to place, there or there. We've got a 3 to place, there or there. We've got a 5 to place. No good. Oh, the 3 can go here because we've got a 3 beneath us. Therefore, what did we say? A 1 to place. The 1 has to go there. And then a 5. And then finally, we're missing the 5 out of that column. We're missing the 4 out of that column. And then we're missing the 2 out of the next column. That was a bit quicker. A nice break. I like it. Some are easier than others. That's nice. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 long here. That's interesting. But that could be start off as a 1 and end up as a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 1, or it could be a 1, or it's going to be a 1 or a 2. We know that much. And this is going to have to be a 4 or a 5. We know that much. Okay. Well, if that's a 1 or a 2, that can only be a 2 or a 3. It couldn't be a 4, and therefore that could only be a 3 or a 4. So we sort of filled that out a bit, if you like. That can't be the 5. Wait, if that can't be a 5, can that be a 4? It can be a 4, yes, we already concluded that. So it doesn't really narrow things down for us too much. Let's have a look at these 5s here. No, that's not much use. What we know is in this column, the 3 is going to have to be there or there. That's one of those is going to have to be a 3. So that means that can't be a 3. So a 3 has to be here or here. Okay. Same for the 2s. That or that has to be a 2. We can't place a 2 there, so either that or that has to be a 2. No, sorry, neither of those can be a 2 because the 2 is in there. Okay, so if the 2's in there, that can't be a 5 or a 4. Nor can it be a 2. So it can only be a 1 or a 3. Okay, so we've got a 2 to place here. The 2 can't be there. It can't be there, so it has to be there. What are we missing here? 1, 2. Well, that has to be a 1 or a 3 as well, because if that's the 3, that's a 1 and vice versa. Okay, that's quite strange, but done. There probably was a quicker step to look at taking there, but I can't see it at the moment. Not really sure what to look at next. Maybe the 5s. A 5 could be here, here, or here, but it can't be there. And a 4, right, we can't have a 4 there because we've got a 4 to the right. And we can't have a 4 there because one of these two is going to end up being a 4. So the only place the 4 can go is there. That leaves us placing a 3 or a 5. And here it's going to be a 3 or a 5. Okay, that's pretty cool. I'm happy with that. So let's move on to the 4th column now then. Okay, so we'll have a look at this 2nd column. If the minimum that can be is that can be a 3 or a 5. So the minimum that can be, it can't be a 3. So it can be a 4 or a 5. So let's just pencil that in there. Can't be a 4 because there's a 4 in the end column. So that has to be a 5. That has to be a 5. That removes the 5 there, and that solidifies that as a 3, which solidifies that as a 5 as well. So now in this row, we've got a 1 and a 2 to place. And we can't do that. So let's move on to the 2nd column down. We've got a 5 in there already, so we've got a 3 and a 4 to place. Can't place the 3 and the 4. Let's have a look over here. Jumping around a fair bit now. We've got a 1 and a 3 here. God. So anything we can place in this column down here at all. Can we place a 1 or a 2? Can't place. What we do know is that the 1 can't be here because we've either got a 1 or a 1 in that cell there. 1 can't be there, so a 1 has to be. This can only be a 3 or a 4, and this can only be a 4 or 5, so the 1 has to be here. Great, that's sorted. We've got a placement in that 4th column then. If that 5's placed there, then by logic that must be a 4, and that must be then a 3. If that's a 3, that realises that is a 2, and if that's a 2, that realises that is a 1. So we should be plain sailing from now, because we've just got a 3 and a 4 to place in this column here. Not a 3 and a 4, a 2 and a 3. That has to be the 3 because we've got a 2 in the 3rd column. Therefore, that has to be a 2. Let's have a look at column 1. We've got a 1 to place, which has to be there. And we've got a 4 to place. So 1, 2, 3 missing out of that row. Missing a 2 out of that row. 1, 2. We've got a 3 and a 5 to place. Well, the 5 has to be there because we've got a 5 over there. That means that is a 3. And then finally, we're just missing the 4 and the 1. 7 minutes for completion. Okay, so that's level 17 done of the 5x5 grid Futoshikis. I'm going to leave it there, and then I might do some more 5x5s on the next video, or I'll move on up to the 6x6s. I think I'd like to get, as you can see, I've done ranging from 47 seconds to 10 minutes for each puzzle. If I can get my average time down to about 3 minutes realistically, then I'll move on to the 6x6, because there's no point in me sitting here for 20 minutes, and it will be like that. Okay, I'll see you in the next